kidneys, because this is going to come out in your test. So we talked about how, you understand how we form our PP, right? So always, I'm hoping that by doing that diagram, when you feel your pulse, or you feel your heartbeat, you're now having a picture of what's going on with the blood that's going to your kidneys. It's unloading your waste, and then it's like a filter, right? So dirty blood passes there, your GP loop, and then clean blood comes out, goes back, it's been cleaned, right? And then the blood that passes to your lungs, you get rid of the carbon dioxide, it's picking up the oxygen. It's amazing. And then as it goes to your brain, it's delivering glucose, right? As it goes to your liver, it's detoxifying everything. Now, it's very important for blood to flow to the kidneys. We remember that. And I said, we discussed the importance of normal pressure, right? In fact, the pressure, the filtration pressure to your kidneys should only be 10 millimeters mercury. So the higher than that, you remember we discussed two things that can happen if the pressure goes up. It will either, the blood will pass way too fast, that there's not enough time for your kidneys to get rid of whatever you want to dump in there, or it can even burst your glomerulus. That's why you hear of glomerulonephritis, or renal failure, okay? And I remember talking about autoregulation, so how the kidneys autoregulate. Oh. So, I'm looking for the marker that you gave me. I took it home so they won't use it. It's in my.
No, I stole a really nice one from our work clique. Well, now that's on video.
You can edit it.
Okay, I'll find it. I remember taking it home. So we talked about autoregulation. And this means, don't forget, there's a question in your test. Something comparing your, high blood pressure, low blood pressure conditions. What property, the question was, what property of the kidney do you think does this explain? Something like that. I forgot now the wording, but the answer is autoregulation. I'm hoping, so whether the pressure is high blood pressure, right? Low blood pressure, when it gets to the kidneys, it is so important for the pressure to remain at 10 millimeters. Very important in the kidneys, right? Because this is your only trash can. And this autoregulation, will you agree when I say that the nervous system, right? The nervous system helps in this autoregulation, because you have in your kidneys, you remember the JGR apparatus, right? The afferent arterioles and the efferent, so the afferent and then the efferent arterioles. There was a group of cells here called the JG cells, and then the mesangial cells. I'm not going to ask you to memorize the cells, okay? But do you understand when I draw? So this is your afferent arteriole, right?
Yeah.
Afferent arteriole, this is the efferent arteriole, right?
Yeah.
And then by kidneys, I'm just writing it, the glomerulus. You understand, everybody? Okay, so there's your glomerulus of the kidneys. And in the glomerulus, the pressure should always be at 10 millimeters, so that you can filter out everything, okay? So here, within this afferent, efferent, and then the tubules, you have a group of cells here that make up what we call the JG apparatus, and that's the one That's the key for auto-regulating the JG apparatus. JG for juxtaglomerular, and it's juxta, they say, is because it's surrounding the glomerulus. So that's why they use that term, okay? And this is the one that's key for autoregulation. And I know you will understand when I say that the nervous system helps in this autoregulation, because it is actually what tells your muscles to contract. Remember, we discussed that no muscle contracts unless there's nerve stimulation. Remember that excitation, contraction? So really, the receptors, there must be receptors here, which is part of your nervous system. So this autoregulation is actually nervous system control, right? Because it's neurons that monitor changes in pressure. Remember, if the pressure is very low, it's the efferent that will constrict. So it's all about constriction. And you always think, what tells muscle to constrict? It's the nervous system, okay? And what I forgot was the other system that helps in maintaining this normal filtration pressure. Can you guess what is the other body system for homeostasis? Yes, the endocrine system. I forgot that. So we will add one more body system that makes sure that the kidney always, each time that heart beats, there's always PP being formed, right? And that's the endocrine system. Have you heard of the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone mechanism? You know angiotensin. Have you heard of angiotensin? Aldosterone, you know aldosterone, right? This is your salt retaining hormone. Okay. This renin, angiotensin, aldosterone mechanism is coming into play. When do you think? When you have low blood pressure or high blood pressure? Low blood, because this is aldosterone retaining salt. So this renin, angiotensin, aldosterone mechanism is very important when the blood pressure goes down. When your blood pressure is low, you have your cells right here again that sense the low pressure. So the same cells, they also respond by releasing these hormones. That's why the kidney is also considered an endocrine organ. You remember it's not a hormone. It secretes this enzyme. It's an endocrine organ because it releases erythropoietin. Erase that. So in addition to autoregulation, the constriction of the efferent or the afferent, okay, that's different. In addition to doing that, when it has to respond because of low blood pressure, it responds by secreting this one. This is what it makes, renin. Again, when your blood pressure is low, the kidneys, here in the glomerulus area, they respond by secreting this chemical. This renin is considered an enzyme. So they secrete that, and this renin is now in your blood. Are you picturing? Again, yes.
I'm curious, there's another in the worksheet, it talked about renin for denaturing
in the babies.
proteins.
Yes,
yeah.
And it's double N, I think.
Okay.
This is one N. Okay.
Right.
There's so many that's same names in A and P. Okay.
So when your blood pressure is high, then it secretes
when
what?
your blood pressure is low.
Yeah. What about if what is high? Then what is it secrete?
When it's high, we're going to talk about that just a minute.
Okay.
We're not finished with this story yet.
Okay.
Okay, one more time. Blood pressure goes down. Kidneys what? They secrete what enzyme? Renin. Remember, enzyme. This is considered as an enzyme. Where is this going to be secreted into? Into your blood. Okay? Now, the next picture. So, we trace what renin is doing. In the blood, you have what you call angiotensinogen. So this is a protein that we have in the blood. It's the inactive form. So when this renin is secreted in the blood, what it does is it activates the angiotensinogen, converting it to angiotensin. You understand? Everybody? One more time. In your blood, what do you always have? The angiotensinogen. This is always present.
And it's a protein?
Very good. It's a protein. So when your blood pressure is low, so angiotensinogen inactive. When your blood pressure is low, kidneys respond, secrete this one. This goes in the blood. And when it sees this one, it converts this to what? Angiotensin, which causes vasoconstriction to bring back the blood pressure to normal, right? This activity of renin actually happens in your lungs. I don't know why, ask God. But renin activates angiotensinogen to angiotensin in the lungs. That is the site of this. It's like that's their coffee shop.
Maybe it needs higher oxygen levels?
Maybe, I don't. That's a good. I don't.
Or
know.
higher CO2 levels.
Maybe that's their favorite area of meeting place. That's where they have a date. You heard, the reason why I wanted to remember that where this event happens in the lungs is now you can explain, like my husband is on lisinopril, which is an ACE inhibitor. What does ACE stand for? Angiotensin converting enzyme, right? You have some patients on ACE inhibitors, right? And what is their common symptom? Cough, dry cough. It irritates the respiratory because where is the target of ACE inhibitor? It must be in the lungs because this is where this event happens. That's why they will complain of cough every once in a while. It's normal.
So what happens in the lungs?
It gets irritated. What do you mean what happens in the lungs?
So you said it acts on it in the lungs. That's when it becomes active.
This one, didn't I just? Yeah. It's that happening.
And that brings your blood pressure back to normal.
Yes.
Well, so where does the aldosterone fall in there?
Very good. So at the same time,
The
this
aldosterone.
one now, once this becomes active, it's like a cascade. Now this calls on aldosterone, which is what is that? Where is this hormone being released from your
Kidneys.
No.
adrenal
Renal glands.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Thorough.
So it's like when this gets called, it calls on that because it's very important to raise your blood pressure to normal. You understand? Okay. Now, what happens when we have high blood pressure? In addition to this autoregulation, okay, remember the kidneys autoregulate, but then here we see in this picture the hormones also help. And when you have high blood pressure, there's one hormone that helps, atrial natriuretic peptide. I remember asking
From the
these
heart.
hormones in your very good in your test. Okay, so when the blood pressure is high, it's the heart, the atrial natriuretic peptide.
Oh.
Which one's
we
it?
learned that.
Yeah, which one's it? Oh yeah, I remember sending you a message. So which
The
one's
atria.
the atria, of course, right? Atrial natriuretic peptide. Where is it going to go? Right there.
The kidney.
Yes. To promote secretion of sodium, right? And with sodium, water follows. So you PP the volume to regulate your blood pressure again. Okay? So this, I remember asking this in the test.
Which is why the BPs can get so bloody high before that kicks in. Because you got to get the fluid up.
You have to get the fluid up, yes.
So if you're dehydrated with high blood pressure, that's not going to kick in.
If you're dehydrated with high blood pressure, no, it won't.
Which is why you have to take meds.
You have to take medications, which is why it's really very important to remember that word homeostasis. It is so important, okay? You understand this one? Do you have any questions on this one? Now, when you have friends or patients, they say, you have any problems? Oh, I just have this cough I can't get rid of. You ask what drugs they're taking, and now you can explain to them. It's just irritating their respiratory system, and it's just. I guess when they complain of cough, then that's assurance that they are taking their medications. Good. That means they're
So
taking
some of
their
them we need to
medicine.
stop going, it's a smoker's cough. I haven't
Okay.
smoked in 5 years.
My husband takes lisinopril and he doesn't have a cough.
I take it and I
So-
don't either, but well, I do occasionally, but I also smoke.
Next,
So
we're going to discuss your one lab exam. So when is your remember you're supposed to have 3 lab exams?
right.
When is the 3rd lab exam?
I have a question before you do that.
Yes.
This is we've been
March
discussing all
14th.
this at work. If all of your trash goes out through your urine, and the only thing that goes out through your feces is stuff that you take in orally,
That
why is
wasn't
the
part of you.
yeah, why is the feces considered so gross and the urine considered sterile? Shouldn't it be the other way around? If you were going to reconsume something,
Because your feces was being bred on by bacteria that normally lines your colon.
Well,
But they're starting-
kidneys filters it out, doesn't it?
Well-
The kidneys filters out all the stuff, so it comes out clear.
It's
filtered.
supposed to be clean inside. Remember, everything that enters was filtered by your lymph nodes first, clean, hopefully clean by your lymph nodes. It's
Yeah,
when
it
it
goes through
stays
your
for a
kidneys
while
and then
in your bladder that there's possibility for infection that will ascend.
because they're starting to take people's feces that have good flora and dehydrating it down and giving it to people in pill form. Have you not seen that? People who have like destroyed their flora in their intestines, they're taking healthy people, dehydrating it down, putting it in capsules, and actually giving it to redo the flora.
But
It's actually kind of fascinating if they can make it work.
That's disgusting.
the study of medicine always evolves. Okay, yes.
I have a question. What's the difference between a urine culture and a urinalysis?
Don't tell me. You answer your question. Don't tell me.
Well, because I
You,
know
have you taken microbiology?
not yet.
What's a culture?
You have to grow
Something
it.
that
It takes
grows.
days.
Yes. What's a urinalysis?
It's just a quick
That's very
Exam.
good.
snapshot
Yes.
instead of the
Put
movie.
in a little stick and then see, hey, you have a
Culture
UTI.
means you're trying to incubate something, see if something grows in there.
So so they do the urinalysis first, and then they would see if it's abnormal.
Of course.
Then they would do the culture.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, but so they would do it if you just have anything abnormal in your urine.
If you come in with symptoms, if you come in with burning and that kind of stuff, they're going to culture your urine to see what's growing in there. If they just want to know what your glucose level is or whether you're spilling protein or
That's
what your
right.
pH is,
Urinalysis.
that's just a urinalysis. That's a quick,
What's in your pee pee?
yeah, what
If
your
there's
kidney looks
bacteria
like.
in there, then I'm sure they will culture.
They'll
it.
culture and sensitivity it.
Why? Did they request for culture for you?
Yeah, that's what they do.
It's normal because they want
Well,
just
cause
want to make sure that.
like I went to St. Clair's and they like just did a urine analysis and then they're like, oh, you have a urinary tract infection, and then I went to like my doctor. She's like, did they do a culture? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, and so she took me off the antibiotics.
Because when they culture it out, they can see specifically what's growing and tailor the antibiotic just to that.
I
Because
think
you don't want antibiotics
Just to
that-
take them.
just to
that's
take
right.
them,
Yeah.
especially not pregnant.
I know you being pregnant, you just start thinking all of these things.
Well, cause they're like, why didn't they do a culture?